When you feel like God is speaking to you in prayer and you're not even sure, is it God or just me? Write it down. When you need direction and wisdom for your life, write it down. See, a journal not only gives you a place to record your thoughts, but it allows you to just analyze where you've been, where you are, and where you're headed. Hey, I'm Terri Savelle, your cheerleader of dreams. I want to tell you a story that has inspired millions of people around the world to basically stop making excuses and start taking action on your dreams. It's the most important thing you need to do before you take action. But first, ladies, guess what? My annual Icing Women's event is coming to Dallas, Texas. It's coming up around the corner, September 1st and 2nd. This is really tempting me right now. But this is a conference for you to work on your dreams, to discover your dreams, get the action steps to go after your dreams in an anointed atmosphere of faith, and to just have fun with other ladies from around the world. And of course, you're gonna have plenty of cake. I always say there's nothing more powerful than faith and frosting, right? So register for this incredible girls trip to Dallas. Just click the link in the description and get your ticket to Icing Dallas today. Okay, I want to do another giveaway this week of 3 copies of my book, The 5 Things Successful People Do Before 8 a.m. I love seeing all your tag photos on Instagram, so I decided to do it again this week. Now, this book is based on the 5 habits that changed my entire life. So I've already signed these books. I'll show you. They're already signed. So I want to ship them to 3 people today. So all you have to do to enter this drawing is, number 1, follow me on Instagram. That's where I post the most and interact with people a little bit easier. Number 2 is screenshot a photo of this podcast today. And number 3, post it to your story on Instagram so I can see you. And don't forget to tag me so I can find you. So we're gonna pick 3 winners today to send this book to. And I think you're gonna enjoy this book. Does that sound good? Okay, follow on Instagram, screenshot this podcast, and post it to your story. Okay. So, you have probably seen this famous speech on a TED Talk, but if you haven't, let me tell you about this amazing girl named Amy. So one day, Amy thought she had the flu, like anybody whose body aches and you have a little fever. She was only 19 years old, in excellent health. In fact, she could beat anybody up a mountain on a snowboard. Not feeling so great, she went home to rest, but she got sicker and sicker as the day went on. Well, fortunately, her cousin had just gotten her driver's license and thought something isn't right here. So she rushed Amy to the hospital. Her entire body was just crashing. Her kidneys were shutting down. She even heard the doctor say massive kidney failure. Well, Amy had entered severe septic shock. It was so life-threatening that she was convinced she was about to have her last heartbeat. Right before the doctors put Amy into a medically induced coma, she remembers looking at her feet. They had turned from this dark purple to violet. Well, apparently when a body is in septic shock, it pulls blood from its extremities to feed the organs that are failing. Amy was dying. Well, by the grace of God, the doctors were able to perform emergency surgery and save Amy's life, but her legs had to be amputated below the knee. Well, after a very long recovery, Amy said, "You'd think my darkest days were when I lost my legs?" She said, "Instead, my darkest days were when I went home and had to learn to walk in these metal legs for the first time." She said, "I had to rethink the rest of my life. I felt so out of control." She said, "I was at the bottom of the barrel." She was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And Amy said she began to sit quietly and just think, alone, in solitude, by herself, just think about her future. In fact, Amy said this was the question that popped into her head. If my life were a book and I was the author, how would I want the story to go? Think about those words. If your life were a book used to inspire someone else, how would you want the story to go? Amy said, "I knew what I didn't want. I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. I didn't want people to see me as disabled. I wanted to live a life of adventure and stories." Amy said, "This question allowed me to daydream. Daydream about traveling the world, about snowboarding, about all the things she wanted to do and completely believe that it was possible." And that's exactly what Amy has proven. Amy Purdy doesn't look like she's lost a step in life. In fact, she won a bronze medal in snowboarding at the 2014 Paralympic Games. America fell in love with her when she reached the finals of Dancing with the Stars. And millions of people have watched her incredible TED Talk. You know, it's been said that when Amy Purdy lost her legs, she found her voice. She also found her vision, her dream, her purpose. When was the last time you sat quietly and just thought about your vision, your dream, your purpose? You know, it doesn't have to be only when something tragic or life-altering happens. However, for most of us, that's when we come to grips with life, about our future, our choices, the direction our lives are going. You know, for me, it was when Rodney and I separated and we're on the verge of divorce. It was the first time in 11 years of marriage that I ever just thought. Seriously, I was always so busy, constantly surrounded by people, activities, noise, you know, whether it was the TV on in the background or the radio on while I'm driving or going to lunch with friends. I never sat quietly in silence and just thought about my life. Until that moment in 2002, when I grabbed a journal and a pen and began to ask myself questions about how I wanted to be remembered. Kind of like Amy's question of, if my life were a book and I was the author, how would I want the story to go? And I just began to write from my heart. In fact, in your free download this week, I'm giving you chapter 3 of my book, The 5 Things Successful People Do Before 8 a.m., and you're going to discover why successful people journal. You're going to learn the 5 most powerful reasons to keep a journal. And you're going to love reading this. And you're going to want to grab a journal as quick as possible because it changed my whole life. So just click the link in the description right now and you can have chapter 3 instantly. I love this. Jim Rohn said, if you're serious about becoming wealthy, powerful, sophisticated, healthy, influential, a unique individual, keep a journal. Now, the reason Jim Rohn believed in the importance of writing things down is because he said, you forget. It's that simple. You can't trust your memory. When you hear something valuable, write it down. When you stumble across something important or meaningful or inspiring, write it down. When you feel like God is speaking to you in prayer and you're not even sure, is it God or just me? Write it down. When you need direction and wisdom for your life, write it down. See, a journal not only gives you a place to record your thoughts, but it allows you to just analyze where you've been, where you are, and where you're headed. You know, you may remember me sharing a quote with you that changed my life when I heard a minister say, somebody in need is waiting on the other side of your obedience. And he repeated it twice at the end of his message. Somebody in need is waiting on the other side of your obedience. And I would think, who could be waiting on me? Who could be waiting on me to get my act together, to start believing in myself and my dreams? Who could be waiting on me to pursue my dream because it's going to affect their dreams? And in those quiet times with God, I would start realizing God was serious. He really did have dreams and goals for me to pursue. And I started taking the words in my journals seriously. I'm asking you today, if your life were a book and you were the author, how would you want the story to go? You get to decide. I want you to fill your mind with positive input to help you write the best story you can possibly write. Get this free chapter as my gift to you today. Just click the link in the description and you can access it right now. And seriously, just set aside 15 minutes to read it. That's it. 15 minutes can give you the direction you need to start changing your story. Okay, real quick. If you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, would you take 1 second and push the play button before we go? And I want to say that I appreciate that more than I can say. And don't forget, I'm going to be cheering you on to live your dreams.